Contemporary urban.
Contemporary urban?
Neo.
Urban street.
Neo-urban contemporary.
Urban street, mate.
They don't want street in that word, though. They'd like avenue, wouldn't they? Ooh, ship ahoy! And we've already got exit through the gift shop. Right, what sort of ship is this? No vehicle. Mate. Oh.
That's pretty good. So Martin, tell me about art.
It's almost like Doug. It's almost like Doug, isn't it? Yeah.
Could be me and you on a romantic getaway.
Yeah.
You didn't bring me to Norway for the art, did you?
We don't use the word art around here.
What do you call it?
We call it street art.
Is that what it is? And why? Because it's on the streets?
Because it's on the streets.
Or does he like a buzzword?
Well, no, it's kind of a traditional working class...
What, to make it feel more grimy?
Mythology of the street, yeah.
Why?
I think the term urban...
Like, stop rowing for a minute because you're putting us in a circle. Let me hit us out to the middle. You don't like the word urban, you prefer street?
Yeah, I think...
Right, you need to row now.
The neoliberal cultural elite are doing all they can to strip the street from street art, you know? Nasty, transgressive dirt under your fingernails, prostitutes, drugs.
But Norway's got a long history of street art and graffiti. Did it have a big history of graffiti a long time ago anyway, or has it got bigger now?
Hang on, I said dirt, prostitutes and drugs. And you changed the conversation to...
I'm trying to just keep Norway you on point.
Norway has a long history of...
So does Norway have a long history of prostitution and drugs?
Yes, it does.
Does it?
But you...
Is that a Viking thing?
Funnily enough, not a very long history of stencil art.
Is that you that's done that then?
Me? No.
Who was
Banksy, of course.
So I just keep rowing like this.
Ketchup.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Hang on. It's sinking at the back there.
Fuck off. What's the future of street art? Street art died a long time ago.
No, that was urban art.
Oh, urban contemporary.
Contemporary urban.
Contemporary urban.
Neo.
Urban street.
Neo-urban contemporary.
Urban street, mate.
They don't want street in that word, though. They'd like avenue, wouldn't they? Or something.
Avenue art.
Something like they've already gentrified the name.
A liberal version of street art. It would be like cul-de-sac art.
Your nan's house art.
Yeah. It's the same as an introduction of any new subculture. It's here to stay. Yeah. It's not going away. It is so fundamental to human expression that I think once you introduce these, like once you democratized the making of music by having affordable technology, once working class kids could get their hands on a affordable drum machine, they invented techno, you know, like a fucking huge culture that never existed before. And previous to that, or the turntable, you had to be middle class. You had to read and write Western notation to be able to make music. You had to be in a background where you could have the time, energy, resources and finance to have a guitar and dedicate time to learning it. And then you had to find 3 or 4 people of the same class, of the same structure, with those different instruments, and then find the time together to either find a basement or a garage or someone's bed just to make a track, you know. And now you can go to the shop tomorrow, you can buy Ableton or a turntable and you can make an album within a month. So just this idea of the democratization of access to the production of culture.
It's easier for people to cut a stencil than it is to get hand styles over 20 years of development of can control.
So it's literally the democratization of the creation of art in the same way that technology was, yeah? Like an 808 or a...
It's giving it back to the
now
people a
all you need is a knife and a piece of card, and this is a legitimate art form. And if you hone your craft from a single layer of a rat or Smash the System or whatever it is that you were inspired to go out and do, that you turn that into a craft, yeah? Kind of a very traditional William Morris British craft. And I think the stencil has something about that. I think your new work this kind of nod to pre-Raphaelite as a similar, really British take on the art, but without, you know, seeing that first single layer stencil by Banksy or whoever. That path would have been absolutely close to you, because you'd have had to literally be able to draw a hand or draw a cabbage lifelike to get
not anymore.
Fast-tracked into art school. And your teacher would come over and go, "Oh, that's a very good cabbage. You've drawn that very well, Mr. Reed.
You've got a lovely cabbage,
and you'd be
Mr.
like,
Reed."
you'd be the art star of the art class because you could draw a fucking cabbage.
It's part of the reason we've gone back to the single layer style though, man, because it is going back to the roots of stencil art. We've done the multi-layer, and multi-layers are great, but you know, the initial game plan was a black and a white. You need one colour, you need a single stencil, you can get much bigger, you can get much quicker, and that is the initial roots of it.
And I think you also have a responsibility, because once that idea of agency, because Nuart, you know, the policy was always not to create art but to create artists, and I think if you walk past a small human-sized stencil, you give people the opportunity to go home and have a go themselves, in the way that if you walk past a giant mural or a huge haircut, you don't think, I'll go home and have a go.
How's Brexit lately?
Next.
I was pulling before. That's it. Oh shit. I've forgotten how to row. I'm at the end.
So is that better?
Look,
how are you sitting?
It's a bit more.
Right.
This looks
up on the rock. This is relaxing. What do we do?
Right, I'll go.
I want to try to get a rhythm. Right. What do they do in Cool Runnings? Feel the rhythm. Feel the beat.
You're going back to front, mate.
Okay.
Put the whole
in the bin. We're in the bin.
We're not doing very well on reaching over to there. What do you think the future for Nuart is, Martyn?
Yes. We're moving into austerity Nuart with a criminal lack of public funding.
So you're following the British model then?
So we're following the Brexit model.
Yeah.
Which is basically we've pointed Nuart in the direction of we don't really know where. We have no money to get
So basically you want to throw one oar away and then just keep us going, and that's
Brexit. I think Nuart and this rowing is a good metaphor for the nature of the company.
Yeah. Martyn at the helm.
We're about to land.
One oar, going round in circles.
Are you ready, Doug? You're going to claim it.
I call this Dugland. Oh, what do you think is the most underrated Disney film? This is the first question you've not had an answer to.
I refuse to answer that question on the grounds it may incriminate me. I'm taking the fifth, mate.
What, do you not like
I wouldn't know what a Disney film was.
You must show your kid Disney films.
You mean like Frozen and stuff?
Let it go! We've not done the Atlantic.
Stop being so...
Doug, you're fucking it up!
What are you
I'm
doing?
so strong, sorry. Have they sent out rescue boats?
The rope. Land ahoy!
In the past few years you've been to Nuart, you've documented a lot of it. How do you find the progression of the festival's gone? How do you find the progression of the curation's gone?
Whoa, hello. Martyn, do us a favour, plug your ears.
What are we doing?
How's the progression of the festival gone since I'm in it this year? Is that a step in the right direction?
I'd say it's gone downhill since that. They used to have ad fuel. Then it all went tits up.
For some reason SNIK gets invited this year.
Yeah, you can tell they're struggling.
Yeah.
They've gone back to Stencil.
Take the budget artist, mate.
If you have a festival platform, the way the resources should go, and I believe that the artists should not be the last ones in the pie. I think the artists have to. There has to be more festival-wide of how the artists are paid, looked after, and seen, not as interchangeable between each other. And I think what has happened with a lot of the festivals is that it's, well, if you don't agree to do this, we'll find someone else to do it, and they won't get the same platform of exposure. And I think that's
the curatorial policy of many is if you don't do it, someone else will.
That's where they hold artists almost partially to ransom. I love where a lot of them are doing it. I think it's great to see there become more of an appetite for it, but I think as the appetite grows, artists shouldn't be expendable the way that they are. And I think if you're picking an artist for a festival, you're picking them for a reason. You're not just picking them because you think, oh well, this is going to look cool here, but it doesn't matter if you don't do it because I'm going to get because you're hot at the moment and you've got 70,000 followers on Instagram. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about, look, what am I actually trying to communicate here, and then work from that rather than the other way around.
Do you get invited to a lot of festivals nowadays?
Ish, but to be honest,
more than you since you started doing big pieces, for example.
Well, this is it, because muralism's more on point than regular interventional street art. Everyone wants a big wall, makes people stand there and do a tour around it, but more so, I'd always rather. Well done.
Sorry, I hadn't had attention in 4 seconds. I think festivals need to realise that they have more of a duty to do, and this is, I'm not out here to polish your bell or anything like that, because you're the one that invites me out, and I fully respect that, but I genuinely believe that there needs to be more of that attention to detail into what the festival itself is trying to communicate. Not just to say, look, we can make our city appealable, to say, look, we can gentrify an area or something like that. You have to think, look, what is the message of every single artist there? What are they trying to do? What is this aesthetic? What is this message bringing to the city?
So we're talking about critical.
Can we feed this into the mentality of people? It doesn't have to be from any particular standpoint. If everyone just went around writing "fuck Donald Trump" on a wall, that would be a whack festival. But if you can get people critically thinking about the way that they are experiencing their environment, whether it's through an intervention, whether it's through a mural, then you're doing something right.
Does it have to say anything if it enhances people's lives in the area? Is that a pretentious thing to say? Everything has to say something, or can there be an aesthetic value purely for aesthetic value?
Said the aesthetic value.
Passing judgment on things and people is a risky thing to do. I mean, critiquing is good. Everything needs to be critiqued, and people need to be held account to levels. But I don't think it's our responsibility to say to people what is better and what is good.
When you say it's ours, you mean as the artist?
No, I mean as viewers. I mean as people that are out there viewing it. It's public art. People make their own decisions, their own assumptions.
But I also don't think that we should be free from being able to critique anything that we want to. Everything, as you put it out in the public,
everything's for critique.
Up for critique.
And you need thick skin. People, you shouldn't get offended if someone calls you out for painting dead celebrities.
Yeah, I really don't think you should. You know who you are.
But you, Nik, you're deeply engaged and embedded in stencil art culture as something separate from street art culture. Does stencil art's kind of split off to the stencil art group, just a craft? You know, there's some amazing.
I believe in it as an art
form. The World
form.
Championship of stencil art.
It's not that. It's not a competition to do a better stencil than anyone else.
No, but
I just believe in it. I believe it.
There are competitions and annual stencil, which are nothing to do with the street. It's just with the craft of being able to
I get like the World Stencil Art Prize and stuff. But the thing is, I believe in it as an art form. You know, it had a rough beginnings because it overtook what other graffiti writers have been painting for years made. Stencil art was cool, so it made more money. So we have more to prove in the game, to prove that it's an art form that's viable rather than just a fucking fad.
But you didn't pick up a knife and a piece of cardboard to make money, presumably.
No, I just like painting things. I just like painting things, man. I just like creating stuff. It doesn't have to be. It was never about money.
No.
You know, as long as you get some paint and a wall and a snack, you don't need anything else, do you?
And a boat.
Stencil art has a long history tied in with street art. You know, the biggest fucking guy in the world is a stencil artist for the art game.
Bambi.
I mean, what is a street art? What is a proper street art festival anymore? You know, Nuart is different. Nuart is curated. Nuart is a bit of a different approach. But you know, Upfest, for example, did this Simpsons thing this year, and that for me removed the main element of what a street art festival should be, isn't it?
No comment on that one.
Oh, well, he's fucking...
I made my comment on that.
Upfest was the first festival I did 10 years ago, man, 2008, and it was really good. And all power to him. You've got to get your money in, you've got to get your sponsors, but
this is the thing, right?
Talking about a street art festival, and
what do you do when the money's not coming in it from the channels that it should be coming in, which is from public funding or through crowdfunding or something like that? Like, what are the correct avenues of generating enough capital to put on a credible and authentic street art festival? Because I obviously had a problem with the Simpsons model. I didn't like it.
I just think dictating to what artists can paint.
Yes.
I think
saying to artists they have to include Simpsons characters in their walls.
Yeah, that's
what I didn't get.
That was the part.
Like you know, that's the festival. Getting sponsored by the Simpsons, putting it on T-shirts is cool, but getting some of the main walls and saying you have to paint a Simpsons character on this, I find a little bit strange. Do you know what? Dougland's big. Have you seen the size of Dougland?
I think Dougland is the mainland, actually. It's called Norway.
I just conquered Norway.